Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you may be across the globe. I'd like to welcome you to Edo Citizens. My name is Frederick Ideho. Today I have, yet another special guest with whom we would be looking at a few issues around where he comes from. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me Mr. Charles Ideho.
Yeah.
Mr. Charles Ideho is the head of station Jordan FM 105.5 Jordan FM. Welcome, Ross.
Thank you very much, Fred. We've known each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
But social media allows us to be friends for 20 years without meeting each other. But we see
Exactly.
for the first time, and I see we've known each other for quite a while. But I thank you for what you're doing here. Came in here, look at the studio, and I say, but you are not a broadcaster like us, but you get crashed. But you're doing well.
No, I'm a broadcaster.
Oh, you are a broadcaster.
Yeah.
But I know you did something about architecture and all that. And
Yes, okay. First, that's a long story. First of all, I'm
Yes.
kind of multidisciplinary.
okay, that's fine.
I'm
Yeah.
first of all an accountant, and then I went into journalism,
Yeah.
and then went on to specialize in at NIJ. I studied
did some courses.
fair
right.
and advertising, and then on that's where you do lecture on
Yes.
NBA.
MBA.
I did broadcasting.
I
so
see.
that's what brings me.
Anyway,
to
you are part
broadcasting.
of us. That's it. Now I'm supposed to be the guest. I'm not the.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's okay.
Thank you very much, friend.
Very good to have you.
That's
I
right.
followed you on journal. I think the first time it was on the radio program first. I think I first heard your voice or so, if I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, and then on Journalist Hangout, began to follow you.
Yes,
I didn't, and then we hooked up on social media.
That's right.
And then I'm very happy that I have the opportunity to be interacting face to face with you here today.
I appreciate.
Charles Ideho, did I mention, is from Edo State. Did I mention that earlier? He is an illustrious son of Edo, as some people will say in Europe. He's an illustrious son of Europe, but he is an illustrious son of Edo State. So you are in broadcast industry, or rather, you are in communication. I don't want to narrow it down.
Yes.
Let me run me through that. But of course, we need to. I'm not sure I gave a very vivid description of who you are.
That's right.
So let's take it.
Okay, thank you very much. I actually started out on the streets in Lagos. When I finished secondary school, I didn't follow up with getting to the. I started out on the street when I finished secondary school in Holy Trinity Grammar School, Sabongida, which of course also in Owan, but now Owan West. There used to be one Owan anyway, but because they had to divide local governments and all that. So we had Owan. We now have Owan East, where I come from, having Afuze as the headquarters, and then Owan West, where I schooled, secondary school, Holy Trinity School, that's Sabongida or Owan West right now. So as young men in Bende, we always do those times. I had to also follow the path, and then came to Lagos, which was like where everybody wanted their dreams realized. So I came in here. But before then, when I was secondary school, people knew that I had two professions I had to pursue because of my proficiency in English language, and I could speak well, and also I could argue well, and also I was winning almost all the arguments. So it was believed that I was either going to be a lawyer or a journalist.
I was coming there.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I came to Lagos. I was following the path of just hitting the streets, just getting to do something. I went into the film industry, the Nollywood, but it wasn't called Nollywood at that time, where I did a lot with people like Sam Loco, Claire Mohammed, and a whole lot of them. So then found myself in NTA, GNT Channel 10, where I had to also join the drama unit, but not as not as an employee, but as all these contract staff that you had there. So I also learned drama. Then before I know how to return to school, I went to Unilag to go pick a diploma in purchase and supply management, a course that I didn't need. Actually, I didn't need it. Even as I speak, my certificate is still in Unilag. I didn't have any need for it, but I just had to go to school.
Yeah.
So when I left there, NTA, what I was doing actually showed my worth, and that was why I had to. People like Joe Susan, who I eventually had to work with today, was in Radio Nigeria. Yes, people like Sonny Rabo, and then in the print I had Dele Giwa, who died. Today's you have Tinubu's spokesperson, Ononuga, by Ononuga. They were all in the news magazine, Tell. So they all shaped my world. So I decided to pick up another profession. I went into print journalism as a reporter, worked in many places, some I can't even remember. That's how I grew. I grew rapidly from reporter to staff writer to production editor to business editor to deputy editor to editor. So that's how I ran through that. And then in 2013, because I had something to do with Dubai for about 4 years, when I in Lagos, when I no longer had something to do with Dubai in Lagos now, so I had to say, okay, let me change. I've done well in writing, beautifully well, but let me also go to the speaking part of it, spoken part. So I now went into broadcasting, which of course it was Radio Continental, that is now Max FM, that offered me that window where we had to be part of the early morning newspaper review as an analyst. In the evening, Kubaje Direct. On Sunday, we had the parlor show with Josusen was anchoring. Then, right? 2014, that was okay. When I came into broadcasting in 2013. So 2014, it was the eve year of the election 2015. That was when APC came and all that. So guys at TVC, they came up with E15, which analyzing issues about the election that was upon us that time. That was why E15 election 2015. So I became part of it, and then we were able to do that. And then after election came, the name now became Journalist Etsako, because it's no longer E15. So that I've been part of it and all that. So that's how it has been. And then radio also had a part of me. I've been on channels. I've been on virtually all the radio station and TV stations you can mention here in Lagos, whether it's in Benin when I travel home, and even as I'm here, sometimes even radio stations in Owerri, all of them, I also be part of their resource person. So that's how it has been in a nutshell.
Wow. Do you feel fulfilled at this moment in the, I'm still using the word communications industry? Do you feel, is there somewhere else you'd rather be? Some other industry you would rather be?
Okay, well, somebody asked me this question sometime recently. I said, if I'm given another chance to live again, I think I would told the same part, because journalism has actually given me that fame. It opens doors for me, I also became very, positive in what I'm doing. Then I also had the privilege of being easily recognized because of TV and all that. So there are places I go to that it will be difficult for people to break in. My name is Charles Ideho. Oh, that's the same people who didn't know me from TV. They hear me on radio. Oh, yeah, that name, Charles Ideho. How are you? Then I will become the subject. Before I know, what do you want? What can we do for you? And then he opens door for me and all that. So I remember when I was going to, then I was in a print. I was going to obtain my international passport. So I had to take a letter to the passport office in Ikoyi. And then I just said who I was, this magazine I was working for. And we beat the queue.
Wow.
People who were spending about how much at that time, passport racketeering was around 45,000, 50,000, 25 to 35. But we spent 6,500, which was the official rate. And within 3 days, I got my passport. So you see that it gives one that leeway. And it has also afforded me the opportunity to be taken to places, appointed to be part of. For instance, it's just this profession that also gave me that window to be appointed as the Edo State Publicity Secretary of the ADC. As at that time. Yes. So I was the spokesperson. I also became unofficially the National Deputy Public Secretary of the party before the election 2019. We couldn't do well, so the party really. So if I had to live again, I think I may not think of any other profession apart from the media and the communication industry.
Beautiful.
Yes.
What could you talking about? You could argue with law.
Oh yes, I could.
It's something you want to look forward to at some point. The legal thing. Would you have that?
Yes, I actually toyed with that aspect. I wanted to go to the National Open University. I think they said they have to pick up to just go do a course in law. But when I looked at myself, I said, what am I going to be doing with law apart from the braggadocio of I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. But the privilege that lawyers they enjoy in society, I'm also enjoying as a journalist.
Yeah, maybe more.
More, yeah, exactly.
More, yeah, maybe more.
Because
Yeah.
if you encounter a policeman and if you say you are a journalist, you can easily be respected than being a lawyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand? Absolutely. So, and when I happen upon people and they're discussing and I say I'm a journalist, everybody's adjusting. Yeah. Okay, I'll give an example. In Edo 2020, when this election for Baseki re-election, so I was invited to battle one of the parties at that time in the publicity committee. So I had cause to meet with the former speaker. I forgot his name now. Who's now in the National Assembly? Forgot his name, but he was the immediate past speaker of Edo State. Honorable. So Honorable, yeah. Well, I would visit him at his home, in his office, and all that. So he recognized me. This man from TVC, yeah. So the respect he accorded me. Yeah. And then after that, I also had cause to visit Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Schwaibo, in his home, go to his office. So when he also recognized me, but he couldn't remember what platform until we told him, So as we were discussing, he focused on me. Each time ask him. He's a journalist. Ask him. So he had that regard for me. Yeah. He would talk and say, he's here. Thank God we have a journalist. I mean, I might talk to them. So I became the sideshow of the whole guardian at that time. Even though the people, even somebody that held me by the hand with that player, I was even pitying him because
you took the shine. If it was a shine, you took the shine off them. But are you bothered about? Because when you talk about journalism, you want to remember. If you look at the niceties of journalism, you also want to remember the daily givers of this world that passed on. You remember sometime in January or so, some guy who ran a radio program in Benin was shot dead.
Yes, so I'm aware of that case.
He followed that case too. So he also does have.
Whether it doesn't frighten me.
Pardon me?
Whether if it doesn't frighten me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm just wondering that even though he has all the pluses, a bit of minuses here and there.
Well, incidentally, in journalism, particularly in broadcasting, because thankfully you are also part of us. You know that there are bits, there are desks or bits. You have the business desk, the sports desk, the political desk. I belong to. I used to, as I said, I was business editor, but crossed over to being fully into politics. Yeah. And I also pride myself as a politician in training. I'm a politician. I was
going to come to that. I was going to come.
I am a politician in training.
I'd like to have I'd like to elicit some of your comments on what's happening in your own Edo in the course of our talk.
Exactly. So, am I frightened? No, I am not, because I realize that sometimes there are certain things. For instance, in journalism, we are told that if you are in doubt, don't talk.
Absolutely.
So some of these things, I look at them. I'd rather I move over to where I will sensitize the people rather than being critical. Okay. If you look at, thankfully, you also follow me. I'm not too critical in this job, but I'd rather give information to people. If you look at my Facebook page, you see I bring information, I make people laugh and all that. Absolutely. I give you information. Whatever you do with information is yours. So I wouldn't have to delve into. Yes, I'm also trained as an investigative journalist. Yeah. But over time, because of the business I've run, it has not actually taken me to where I will have to now be prying into people's private life and all that. So I rather do I'm apart from the issue of entertainment and then issue of having to educate people. I'm actually not even dealt too much on investigating. Yeah. So that's why I have not done much of. I did it when I was a reporter. I remember that time when a certain smaller bank bought a bigger bank. That time we had to investigate. I was covering the stock exchange and the money markets at that time. Yeah. So we got wind of it and actually did it. So they came after us to say, no, we must not go to press and all that. We shouldn't publish it and all that. Started doing and all that. They did that, to frighten us and all. At the end of the day, we have to settle, do something. Don't do it. So I've come close to certain things like that. Yes. But over time, I think I got moved away from that. And what took me out now gave me what you call analytical journalism. So I've been in analyzing issues in the news, which is why you see me or you hear of me in the newspaper review in the morning, or journalists and we are analyzing issues and all that. So I left the issue of investigating issues deeply as an investigative journalist. So that's why I said I'm not frightened, because I did not delve too much into that aspect of journalism at all.
You probably would have liked so, but for
yes, it was good, because as I said, I was a reporter in the business bit that time. I did that because there are certain things we were able to unravel, even the stock market. Some of the things were happening. There was time you had 85 banks. Later, the capitalization of banks. A lot of things happened at that era. Yeah. Some of us got wind of some of these things, and some of them couldn't publish. Some of them say for national security and all that. Yes, I've done quite a lot of that. But as I said, went back to where I am now.
Let me, as an Edo, we are hosting, under the Edo. Meanwhile, I'd like to welcome you once again to Edo Citizens. That's where we are right now. If you're not following me on Edo Citizen, you would also follow me on Full Conversations with Frederick Ideho. On Edo Citizen, my primary target is to focus on maybe unveil, achievers, if you would, achievers, persons from that climb who have done well in their respective area of calling. Mind you, when I say achievers, I don't mean those who have big fat account. No. If you've done well in your area of your sphere of influence, I'd like to interact with you. I'm here in Lagos. I still have with me Mr. Charles Ideho. Mr. Charles Ideho is from Edo North. So I want to stay a bit of help my audience understand the configuration, geographical, political configuration of Edo State.
Okay. It's 7 local government, which of course is the largest of the three. The three senatorial districts, as they call it politically. All right, the Ovia, the Oredo, the Honde, all of just like that.
I want to pay more attention on that Edo North. That's where.
Yes, I'm going over there. Okay, I'm going over there. Then, as you are going northward, you now get. You won't pass. You can't go to Edo North without passing through Esan. You now get to your place. That's the one we call Esan land, Edo Central, having 5 local government. Originally 2 local government when it was Bende and Midwest, Okpebolo and Agbazilo. Today Agbazilo has 3 local government, and then that's Igweben. I think it's Esan Southeast.
Southeast.
And Esan South. Yes, the other one. Northeast also. Not I can't recall. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Then you now Okpebolo. You now have Esan West and Esan Central. Then when you now move in there, you get to Edo North. To your left, to the left of Esan, you have the Owan. All right. See, Owan used to be 1, but now 2. And Owan has Owan West and then Owan East. West having Sabogindaura as the headquarters, East having Afuze. And then you now have Etsako. Etsako have 3 local government. And then when you get to furthermost part of the West, you now meet Akoko Edo, who are also our brothers. Akoko Edo has been the one that have been cheated over.
Which of these places does Shamole and Chaibo come from?
Oh, they come from Etsako. And incidentally, they are both from Etsako West, Shaibu, which is Afuze. Auchi as the headquarters. Both Shaibu and Oshomole are from Etsako. In fact, their towns are close to each other. Okay. Ijamo, where the Edo State University is located, when he was governor, he took it there. Ijamo and Ijatu, they are both to Zarwe. That's what we are told. All right? So both of them are from the same local government. That Oshomole and the Shaibu. All right. So you also have that Edo that's Etsako has 3 local government. So that's exactly how it's constituted, it's configured. Okay, or configured, I meant. It's configured. Okay. Yes. So you have that. And the voting pattern also follows that trend. The Edo South taking the lion share, which is having 7 local government. You don't have 18 local government in Edo. Yeah. Then you have 6 in Edo North, having Owan having 2, Etsako having 3, and then Akoko having 1, making 6. And then where you come from, Esan having 5. So that's how it's configured. So, but one thing I must particularly also say here is that it's an aside. One thing I love Edo for is that when it has to do with sharing, political sharing, whatever sharing, you don't have any recourse to be talking about religion.
Yeah.
Things are shared according to regions, not religion. When anything comes to Esan, for instance, the Edo Central, they're taking there. You have the people from Basilo and then people from Mukwewo. They will have to work out how they will, if they would like, they let them bring Momodu from Egu, who is a Muslim. It has nothing to do with anybody. When it gets to Edo North, it goes to Etsako. Let them bring Muslims. It doesn't bother anybody. If in Nongwa, of course, you have three Muslim communities in Nongwa. 2 of them predominantly Muslim, which is Warake and Iviaro. Ive is both Christian and Muslim. All right. So you also have, when it gets to Onwa, I mean, do you know how many times we have had a Muslim as and the chairman of Onwa local government, Onwa East?
Wow.
A Muslim. Nobody ever talked about that. You understand? So that's an aside. So once it has to do with political, equation, that's exactly what holds Edo. We are all bound together using all those configurations. Fred.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Good to get that picture a bit clearer. Are there part of people from that axis who are also connected to Ondo State? I hear Akoko in Edo and then Akoko in Ondo.
Aha. Okay. Well, yes, the Akoko there. The Akoko land is very big. Stretches from Akoko in the after our war. No, not same. They have dialects.
Okay.
They have
Akoko in Benin, in Edo rather.
There's no such language called Akoko language.
Oh, okay.
It's a geographical area.
Okay.
So it is the river, I think, river, the way you have Ishwa. I can't recall what they call that river. They also separated them, or they separate both of them. You can put rice on the fire in Ondo State, and you go and buy oil in Edo State.
That's nice.
So they are quite close. That's nice. How. So you have, but there's no such language as Akoko dialect as one dialect. They have multiplicity of dialects. You go to Ondo. As you move further down from Akoko into Etsako, Etsako has Etsako language, but they have dialects. You have Wando, Wepa Wando, which is Agenebude. Once you pass Fuga, you are entry into Wando, Wepa Wando.
Where is Dele Momodu from?
Dele Momodu from Fekperi. That's also another sub-ethnic tribe within Etsako.
Are there areas around that?
That's across the River Niger. That's River Niger. They have River Niger as the bank of River Niger. You have
are there areas in that axis that speak Yoruba? Because we hear
the only place where
Bello, we hear Dele,
names. Oh, okay.
All of those.
You want to delve into that?
No. I just
because I can tell you why Edo, most part of Edo, not most, there's the places in Edo where they answer Yoruba names. I can tell you, Esan is very rare for an Esan to answer Yoruba name.
Oh, but do they speak Yoruba?
No, they don't.
But how did they come about?
That's the story. The history is this: we were formerly part of Western region. I told you. Yeah. And Ibadan was the headquarters or the capital of the Western region those days. Then, as at that time, people who were walking over there, they were seen as Yoruba because all of us were Western, which was why the Urobos, the Benin, the Esans, all of them now said no. The Shekiris, all of us are not Yoruba. So that was what gave rise to the agitation for a creation of another region. That the plebiscite, or the call referendum, referendum of 1963, now gave back to Midwest. You have West, then Midwest, middle of West, the Midwest. Now carve out that portion that were not traditionally Yoruba, which was, as I said, those today you see have villages and towns, those states that are Onwa and Edo.
Okay.
I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, as at that time, when Christianity came into our area at that time, it was Anglican Christianity, the Anglican faith that came into that region using Benin. So as at that time, it was the Yoruba region were the people they were already more advanced in that area. So they had catechists, they had reverends they were also more educated because they saw education first. So they brought them, and they were headmasters and teachers and all of that in our areas. Now, for instance, my town where I come from, we call it Bohumi. Now, my maternal uncle is now late, never went beyond standard seat, never came to the Western region, but he could speak Yoruba fluently because he was an interpreter in the church for the reverend who came. So those reverends were Yoruba. If you go, today, go to Holy Trinity Grammar School where I finished from last Sabugida. You had Akili House. You had Oyebode House. These were not Yoruba names. They were reverends that were principals or Anglican catechists of the Anglican Church. When a child was being Christian in those days, as I said, it's the Anglican faith. So it is the catechist or the reverend that would do the christening. So 3 names will be given. One, which was number 1, was the English name, or they call it baptismal name, either Charles or Fred or Jude or John, pick from the Bible. And then the other one is the Edo or the Owan or your Isan name. Okay, and then a Yoruba name. And this Yoruba name were answering, you forget, if you go to Edo today where they answer Yoruba, you may not have somebody answering Oluwa, Bemiga, or those deeper names. No. The names are common names. Like Dele have come, like Ajayi. They say when a child is born, you have this umbilical cord surrounding the neck of that child. If it's a male, it's Ajayi or Ojo. If it's a female, it's Aino or Aino Rosun. We had all those ones. Femi, common name. Dele, common name. There are common names that you find in Edo. Exactly. Because of the influence of the Anglican church that came in there. Now, if you go to Edo North, the northernmost part of Edo, like Auchi and all that, you see that they don't answer Yoruba names. Those ones, they had Islam. Islam came in to claim all those areas. But if you also go to westernmost part of it, Akoko Edo, they answer Yoruba names majorly because of their closeness to Ondo and all that. Though they have their language, they have the Ibilo dialect, Ikbeshi dialect. They all over there, almost every village has its own dialect. Unlike the other side, Etsako, they understand each other. Esan, the other Esan, apart from Ekmo and Ubegu, this other one that speak, you have something like Ika in their language. You also understand them.
The Ekmo,
all this other area. Yes, back end. You know, so when you now get to your place, Esan, you see Catholicism. You see the Catholic influences over there, Uromi and all that. You know, so the Muslims you have amongst you in Esan are the ones that were influenced by Agbede and the Auchi and all that are close to them, Ewu and all that. You can hardly find in Iruekbe, you might not find a Muslim home or even in Ekboma or Irua, you know. Irua, you may find a bit of 1 or 2, maybe a sprinkling. But not in Iruekbe. Iruekbe is not, if you find maybe 1 or 2, maybe the person just decided to be a Muslim.
Talking about Iruekbe,
yes.
Talking about Iruekbe, there's this thing that is still not clear.
Yes.
So many. The Iruekbe and Ekpoma, are they one? But before I get to that, I wanted to find out in that Edo North, where does Dokpesi Remo Dokpesi found out?
Well, Dokpesi actually hailed from before his demise. He hailed from Wepa Wano. Wepa Wano is also a sub tribe, a sub Etsako tribe.
Oh, okay.
So Etsako, they have Uzairwe, where Oshomole and Philip Shaibu comes from. You have Ekperi, you have Ibie, you have South.
Where's Clemagba from in that?
Clemagba is from Ekperi. Ekperi has this. You have Ibie, you have South Ibie and North Ibie. And then you have Wepawano, where you have Aginebode, all these other towns around Aginebode over there, the Gori, Ivieboa, and all that. I've been to all these areas. So that's exactly how Etsako. Because if you get to Etsako, Iwepa language, for instance, is slightly the dialect slightly different from the one they speak in Auchi. Okay, so but they understand each other. Like Osogbo is wife, Osogbo, but in the other side of the get Ofako, which we call Ohaiko. You know,
Yeah.
so but all of them fish is same thing, same. So they have small little dialectical differences over there, but same language, but with little differences in their dialects. But when you go to Akoko, no, every town one language over there, almost like that. Yes.
Before I wanted to ask you, I was asking about the Iroquois and Ekpo,
Yeah,
but I'll spare you that.
Yes,
I'll
okay.
spare you
No,
that.
I can answer that.
I wanted to jump to the issue of what your take about the ESA agenda that we hear.
Political agenda.
Yeah, ESA political agenda.
Okay, well, ESA agenda, I'm fully involved. I'm fully involved, though I be not ESA. Since 2020. No, since 2018 when I became involved deeply in politics of Edo State. As I said, I was a spokesperson one of the. As at that time, ADC was the third largest party in Edo State. After APC, PDP, and then us and all that. I became deeply involved because I personally benefited copiously. Maybe if not for Ali, I might not have gone to secondary school. Wow. Bruce Ali from Ekoma. Yes, I did something on him. 2020 or kind of. When I saw his house and I shed tears. The home of the
like a documentary.
Yes, like a documentary. I did something about.
I like to.
Yes, I did something. Yeah, I did something about that. I took pictures. I did videos and all. I went there. Okay. His Emado, I think it's Emado, so it's a town over there. So I went there. So when you look at the ESA agenda, Bende State, he was the governor. As at that time, the whole of Bende was one. Irrespective of whether you were a Robo, whether you were Esan, where he hailed from, wherever. Until 1991, we had Edo Delta. Now, since we had Edo Delta, there has been this fear, this mutual fear from the Esan and the Edo North. Fear of the dominance of the Benin speaking. It's still there. Even in the University of Benin today, if you are not from Benin speaking, you may not get to the zenith of your career over there. It's still there today. Wow. I have a friend who, from Owan, we got to where he was because they trained his lineage to. I told you I'm from the palace. I told you he had to train his lineage to the Ozolo, Abazolo, and all that before they allowed him to take that position. He's still there as we speak today.
People within the academic.
Yes, of course. If you're not Benin, you can hardly become a vice chancellor, or even if today. I mean, I know people can go and look at it. I'm telling you what I know. So that dominance has been there. Then a time came. Then there was this talk when Akomo was alive. He was talking about an Afemai state. Okay, it's an amalgam of Afemai and Isan. Yeah, Afemai state. But he couldn't see the light of the day. Actually, I think they forgot about it when people like Aneni came. They were benefiting from the center. They saw no reason for them and all that. So there's that.
Would you have liked that to be?
Yeah, it will further the unity. Okay, I won't say unity, but we are actually enjoying. It's only people who are not from there. They may not understand the mutual distrust that we have over there. Well, again, if you had done that, it will also multiply. It's like we will inherit what we are having now. How would Esan survive?
Absolutely.
How will Esan survive? Even as we speak now, Owan, the two Owan, they are even right now having a problem with Etsako. Okay. Same Edo North. Now Owan and Akoko, they're not coming together forming alliance to now work with Esan. Let's give Esan maybe might get to the Owan man. Owan, the highest level that Owan man has ever attained though is deputy governor. That's Reverend Obada. That was during Oyego. You know, Governor Oyego was the governor. Yeah. Ever since then, we have Pali Riase, who was the Speaker of the House. And since then, we could go to maybe commissioner or I think we have now the current one. Now we have Speaker is Sabongida Ora from Ora. Blessing forgot the current speaker. Then we also have a commissioner who is from my place, It's called Patrick Wansero. He's Commissioner for Trade, Cooperative and all that. So that, as we speak, because before now, even till now, everything that comes to Edo North, which stands for the tripod, Oshomole and all of them, we take everything and share it amongst the Etsako. I'll give you an example. When Oshomole was the national chairman of APC, Etsako. Governor Shaibu, Etsako. The senator represented Edo North at that time, Etsako. Clement Tagba, that was the Minister of State Budget, Etsako. There was one other person who represented Edo in the, I think it's kind of called tax board or something, also Etsako. So the other are asking, are these Etsako the only people in Edo State or Edo North?
Honestly, I do have my serious issue with the kind of politics that our senior brother.
Yes,
is.
even you also saw it in the primaries of APC.
I'm coming there right now.
You also
if
saw
it
it
wasn't by a stroke of fate or something like that, the man in the house, Dennis also.
Yes, it would have been
the flag bearer for. That would have been disastrous. Honestly, very, very disastrous for the man of Oshomole. But I'll make my commentary on Oshomole someday. He deserves a special episode, you know, to let me not get into that
right for now. Yes.
So back to the subject of the ESA. As it is right now, we have 3 persons in the 3 major political parties. 2 of them right now from Edo.
The other one from Edo South.
The other one from Edo South, Apata. Then we have Monday Okpewo, Senator Monday Okpewo. Then we have Dr. Barrister Aswe
Lime.
Aswe Igodalo. Yeah, that's
Aswe, they call him Aswe Igodalo.
Yeah. So, but you know, so what do you think? Well, what's your projection? What's your projection about come 2024?
How it might be?
Yes. What are you thinking?
I was telling somebody the other day.
Do you think that they stand a chance of becoming the next government?
They say yes, they say no.
Okay.
Let me go to the yes first. ESA, I'm sorry to say this, ESA plays the Igbo brand of politics. It has not helped them ever since. Politics of putting all your eggs in one basket. ESA plays that. When what's his name, Aneni was alive, everybody was PDP. Anything that came from the other side, he wasn't going to. So when Aneni died, there was no leader at that time. ESA had, when Ali was there, ESA had only been playing progressive politics, not conservative. And then it took ESA into conservative politics. Recruited people like Ojong Besia, recruited people like Olnone Meme, recruited people like Ikimi was from the other side, actually. You know, Ikimi was from the progressive. Later, he now joined them and all that. So, as I said, you have Aneni and all of them. But what I think they should do, you know, I said there's a yes and no.
Yeah.
So if does ESA stand a chance? As I say, yeah. The yes is that depends on which of them is able to reach out to the Benin speaking. Because as it is, Obaseki once he garners these seven local governments, he will now look for 5, making 12. Once you're able to win 12, you're home and dry. Now, what he has also done ahead of time is to give room to Owan West to emerge as the speaker. That's for PDP.
Okay.
Now, he also gave another position of commissioner to Owan East. So Owan West speaker, Owan East commissioner. So he wants to use all those people to reach Owan. So he wants to claim, if he can claim Owan to add to the Benin speaking. Then he's also playing Owan Akoko Edo against Oshomole's dominance and all that. You know, he's telling them he loves them more than Oshomole loves them. So Owan is trying to make them come to his side. That's why he gave them all these great gifts of those juicy politics. I mean, positions. Now, on the other side, the Aswelime Igodalo is also representing an interest. That's Obaseki's interest, which we're talking about now. Yeah. So Obaseki also he wants Esan to like him. He's the first person to love Esan to say, let's bring your son. You know, because of that was why he didn't want, one of the reasons why he didn't want Swaibu. He said, Swaibu should hold on. Let's allow Esan as a brother, as one of our brothers, let's allow them. I said, so no. So he also wants to let Esan, want to use that to curry Esan's support.
But do you think that Shaibu is out of the race as it is right now? You know, he's still on the media.
Well, there is a Supreme Court says that it is the primary that was monitored
by the INEC.
By the INEC that will be recognized. INEC didn't monitor his.
Okay, that's fine.
They don't monitor his.
But did he really have a primary, really?
But he said he did.
Okay, that's fine.
You see what I said? He said he did.
I'm just
so, but coming to APC, Okpebholo is a newcomer in the fray. His first time in Senate, first time in national politics.
Yeah.
But you can't wish him away. He was able to defeat the incumbent to get in there.
Did you follow the politics in that politics?
Well,
how he emerged. Well, how he emerged. It was the issue around. For me, I thought it was just God was just gracious to him. I mean, this is not to downplay his popularity. Yeah. If you remember clearly, there was this issue. It was the issue with PDP, as a matter of fact, that played out. The Danobi and the Obaseki.
Yes, I remember.
That kind of undid, so to speak. Architect Mike Onowewe, and I gave him this. So I don't think it's more that he became a senior. I'm not sure it has much to do with his.
But over this intervening months, he's been able to, as I heard, be able to reach out to the grassroots.
And you think that's strong enough for him to undo the Igodalo man?
Well, again, whoever wins will not be a subject of or a product of their personally. Okay. Igodalo wasn't known before now, but he had been in the Obasanjo's government. But I was close to Obasanjo's government until some time. I never knew how he also existed there. So it is the election is going to be between the forces of APC, national forces of APC, and the state forces of PDP. Because PDP, you no longer have national PDP for now to say they want to do anything. The person they would have relied upon, the Wike has jumped ship.
Are you not? You don't seem to be mentioning the other man from the Edo South, from the Labour Party.
Well, Labour is also strong in Edo, but Labour is mainly strong in Edo, where it comes from, Edo South. Labour is not very strong in Esan land. Labour is also not very strong in Edo North. Edo North, over there, you have PDP and APC equal. They have equal strength. If you get to Esan land, PDP has more strength than APC. If you get to Edo South, that's where Labour actually has that strength. So Akpata, I personally, this is not to say that Akpata has no strength, but I think it's going to be a two-horse race. In the end, APC and PDP. So what the voting pattern will be, right? Esan will be shared because Aswa is from the Abazilo.
Yeah.
Abazilo, and the other one is from Okpebholo.
Yeah.
Then they now go into so now that they are looking at it is that Oshomole, well, I don't know if Oshomole is going to work against the party or not, but I also see Shaibu. If he doesn't get in the end, Shaibu may join forces with this APC person to want to, rally support in Edo North to work against his own party, just like Wike did. If I can't get it, no other person gets it. He might also do that. Then, if Owan is able to reach out to Owan and Akoko Edo to play the sentiment of Etsako hates you, they might also get the vote over there. So the main thing is that Edo North may not clean. I mean, PDP may not clean Edo North as it is today because there is this sentiment against Oshomole, not Oshomole, what's his name, Obaseki over there. As I said, even these two people he gave them, the speaker, and they're not very good.
How about the guy from Pastor from NMPP who emerged as we don't seem to. It's all right. It's all right. I have my question answered.
No comment.
No comment to comment. So, it's a gentleman. I have been talking with a veteran journalist, a broadcaster, a face that you see very regularly on TVC, a social commentator, an influencer, if you ask me, to social media influencer, if you ask me. Before I let you go on this episode, before I get your sign off or something, I would like to have another opportunity to have issues around some customary issues, especially around that your axis or Edo State generally. I see that I have information that you are quite vast in them.
That's right.
I'd like for us to talk about issues around marriage, customary marriage. I had a guest who had spoken quite
I think I watched that. Sergius is it Sergius? What's his
No,
name now?
Sergius was on the
Yeah,
political
there was somebody. The one I
chief
watched.
in the
Okay, I
Kakulu.
watched one that I saw on YouTube. Of course,
Yes, yeah.
I was nodding my head when he was saying certain things and all that. So which was quite
I like to
right.
get
Yes.
your commentary
Okay,
on all of
we'll
that.
do that. No problem.
Time to time, time to
Yeah,
time. I thank you so much
it's my
for being
pleasure.
here. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Give my regards to your family.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be it for now. Watch out for my episode with Mr. Charles.